It's not. It's just won't. It won't stay on. All right, Tyler, I'm sending you another link.
Go for it.
So it's gonna be in my sent email, of course.
Yeah, I know.
Should be in there now. We're not. We're live, but I don't have any audio from you.
Stand by. I'm getting there. Where's call crap. I don't want that.
French, don't speak French.
I said crap.
It's close enough to French.
Oui.
Wait.
There. That's shared. That.
All right. I gotta sync your audio. Talk for me.
Talk.
Test 1 2 test. Talk for me. 7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth in this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, dedicated to the ideals that all men are created equal.
And
Only white men.
if you're in the chat, can you answer Wade Prunty's?
All right, we're ready.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, Kent Martz here on the 4th or 5th false start. Hopefully we switched computers and we're going to have a little bit better stream going on. I'm Kent Martz from Explore Scientific. With me is my trusty sidekick Tyler.
He called me a miss.
I thought I just called it something else, but misfit. I almost said misfit, but I thought no.
Buddy.
So anyway,
Where the heck have you been?
I
have not been here for the whole week. I was stressing.
I don't know why. I was in my office all of last week.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, the office in Nebraska. Yes, I was at the Nebraska Star Party, and as part of the Nebraska Star Party, went up and was showing these. What's wrong?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I saw that. Okay, so it's a comment Wade Prunty made that's very funny. So I took up some 120 millimeter binoculars, the 82 millimeter binoculars, IXOS 100, an ED80, and a Canon camera. I didn't even try and do anything with.
Did you take the broken ED80 or the cracked?
Yes, I took the cracked ED80.
Nice.
And we did some solar with it. When people look through it with the solar, and I'd show people and let them look through it and say, "See, there's a crack in it. Doesn't matter." So it has a crack in the lens.
It's a pretty good chip.
Pretty good size crack in there, but it doesn't affect anything at all. So anyway, we did a lot of that. Tyler, one time I was setting up the IXOS 100. And I've got a picture of it in here somewhere. We'll show it to you. I'll tell the story when I get there. So let's go to the first picture, if we could, please.
Making sure I'm sharing my screen, which I should be toggle screen share. Yep. All right, cool.
There we go.
I think I just kicked. Is it still on, Paul? Or did I kick it?
It's still going.
Okay, good.
Okay, so
what are we looking at? I mean, other than a field and a bunch of heads.
We're looking, there's no way to get it back of the heads because I guess could have stood up in the tent, but you get these weird shadows and stuff. So this was Sunday night at the first gathering, and there's about 75 or 80 people there. The most meal, and they serve meals at this tent. Their catered meal is really good. And I think they served 210 meals one night.
Wow.
So big crowd of people there for the Star Party. It was cloudy sunny night and ended up having a pretty good rain, but rain doesn't stop us at all. So you're on the sand hills of Nebraska, and if you look back, they're giant sand dunes.
Where's the sand?
It's grass covered sand, grass stabilized sand dunes.
Okay.
You dig a hole. Okay, when it rains, there's no runoff.
It just soaks into the ground.
It just soaks into the ground and comes up in these wetland areas between the sand dunes. So it runs down and then back fills up. It's pretty cool. So hit the next picture, Tyler.
Next picture, Ken.
And
that's a bird.
That's a bird. Yes, it's a bird. It's a specific kind of bird.
Let's see if we can zoom in on that bird.
We saw dozens and dozens and dozens of these birds, and my wife got good enough.
It's fine. It'll catch up.
my wife got good enough to where she could identify this bird, and it's an eastern kingbird.
Oh, I'm gonna leave
Yes,
it on
it's a
there for a
bird.
minute just because we're having internet difficulties.
Yep.
To
So,
make sure everybody sees that.
Don't know what's going on. This was just outside the campground where they were having the registration up. So
There's not a bird on there yet.
Is it that bad?
Yeah.
Holy patoli.
I mean, because we've never. This is live right
Yeah,
here.
it's live right there. Say it again.
Reconnect.
So, did any of these pictures show up?
No,
The first one did.
The first one.
The first one did.
Let me turn it off.
There it goes. I got the bird now.
But did you turn it off?
I don't know. We're about to find out. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. That's weird.
We're not seeing the screen up on our screen at all.
Oh. So anyway, how many of these birds did you actually see? There it goes.
It's a eastern kingbird. We saw lots and lots of them.
Oh, it's a sea eastern king or a
It says no, it's just an eastern kingbird.
eastern king. Why does
We
it?
also
why is it called
saw-
an eastern king
We also saw. We're going to talk about this tomorrow on
on the wing.
on the wing. Lots of on the drive from Grand Island, Nebraska, up to Valentine. We saw a lot of red-headed woodpeckers,
Ooh.
and there's not a lot of trees. It was really weird. They were almost all sitting on fence posts, and they'd fly out and get a bug, be a flycatcher. Basically, they'll catch birds off the wing. And I saw the cool thing was we saw some American white pelicans, and was driving along on the way back and looked over and I said, "There's some pelicans." And I looked again and I was like, No, those are swans. And so we saw
Swans.
two trumpeter swans as well. So it was really
Interesting.
cool doing some bird watching.
Now, is there any of these birds that you saw? Are they on your bucket list? Because I know you want to try to see all the birds.
I have seen all. I've started my life list. All these birds I had on.
Mhm.
I have actually got pictures of trumpeter swans, but this was since I've started my list and writing down where I saw them. So I added eastern kingbird,
Mhm.
American pelican. There's a couple of birds, some storks looking. I just couldn't identify them because we're driving along.
Yeah.
Red-headed woodpecker. Let's see what else. An orchard oriole. We were about 10 feet from that bird. And it was the male, and he was flitting around getting bugs all over these branches. Didn't care we were there. I saw a big flock of plovers, which were a half a mile away and couldn't identify them specifically.
Mhm.
Barn swallow. Let's see, I don't have the list in front of me, but there we go. There was lots of birds I got to add on this trip. All right, so let's go on to the next picture.
Hopefully it goes over, and it's being a booger. There we go.
There we go. Okay, that's Bob Runyon, who has an Explore Scientific ED80, and it is on a IXOS 100. So I set up and we were doing solar viewing at the tents before the.
Is he using
The
a
meeting started.
120-degree eyepiece?
No, it's a 125 on an ED80. It's spectacular.
That's crazy.
On an old TED80 with a cracked lens.
On a 1080.
Yeah, so the eyepiece is almost as big as the telescope. But I'll tell you this story. I set up, and you know how I do this. You've done this with me.
I've seen you do it.
And you've done it. You've helped me.
Yeah.
Pull out my compass, and I have on my smartphone, my iPhone, I've set it for true north, so it automatically adjusts for magnetic declination.
Mhm.
And I pointed the phone north and closed one eye and lined it up with the polar axis of the telescope, and had my wife move it until I was lined up. I said, okay, and made sure the tripod was level. Looked like the telescope was pointing north. The counterweight was down, and I hit using the Explore Stars app on an iPad. So it went to the sun, told it to go to the sun. It slew to the sun, and I had no solar filter on the end, and I took off the diagonal.
Okay.
So I can
So you can use the shadow method.
Yeah, I'm just looking. First thing I'm doing is shadow if I need to.
Yeah.
But I'm holding my hand, 6 or 8 inches behind where it actually comes to a focus.
Yeah.
And so I get a circle, and it just moved, and I got a perfect circle, and put the diagonal in, and was perfectly polar aligned. And you're in an event with lots of astronomers there, right?
Of course.
Who are used to doing polar alignments, and they both stood up. 2 guys stood up, came walking over and said, "How'd you do that?" And I said, "You saw me do it." He said, "Well, yeah, what'd you do?" I said, "It's easy. I got the latitude set at 42 and just a wee bit. I have it pointed north. I got it lined up with a compass and dead-eyed it, and it's level, and it went to the sun." and they were flabbergasted it was that easy. And they were just amazed that that's what we were able to do. But here we are looking at the sun, looking at some nice sunspots. So go on next picture.
Next picture. I know that guy.
Who is it?
That is Steve Seidentop.
Seidentop. It's Steve Seidentop. That's right. And he came over and we were talking. I believe this was the same day. And he was his son Connor. And if you go on our Facebook page, you can find a video of his son Connor at 11 has started 10. He has almost 11.
Yeah.
Has started doing astrophotography. I meant to get a picture that he sent me of the Veil Nebula that Connor took. I forgot to download it and include it in this slide deck. So we'll do that next week. It is very impressive on what they're able to do. And he's doing it with a 80 millimeter telescope, not an Explore Scientific scope, on an IXS 100 with a heavy duty tripod.
Yeah.
And he just sings its praises about how easy it is to use.
Good.
So go on.
Going on.
Oh my goodness. We're getting ready to have beautiful.
I know what those scopes are.
Beautiful skies.
No, wait.
What are we? Yeah.
Is that the BT one? No.
No.
That looks like a Nat Geo.
That's a First Light 8640 on the left. Or on the right, excuse me.
And that's a Dob. It's on the left.
And that's it's a Dob 1045C in the middle.
Ooh.
And that's a pair of what are they? Not Apex, Teton. Those are a pair of Teton 8x42 binoculars as well. That would be Libby and her mom.
Oh,
that's Libby and the Stars and her mom, Christy,
sweet.
On a hillside up from us. And they were sitting there looking at stuff, and I looked up and went, oh, click. And the car on the right is a background car of somebody else.
Yeah.
And was just excited to get that picture. It's pretty cool. So, do we have any comments? Got some comments.
Yeah. Wade Prunty's he's on a roll today.
He is on the roll.
Okay, I'm not going to touch that stick with a 10-foot pole. All right, so since you're not saying it, okay, so go on.
I'm not touching. I'm not going to mess with it. Uh-oh.
Okay, so this is a movie. Will the sound run through?
I don't know. We're about to find out.
Is the sound going to run through this movie, Paul? I said movie-o.
You did say movie-o.
What is the movie running?
You could definitely tell that they're messing with the BT 120s.
Any sound coming through? No sound coming through.
No sound coming through.
Well, the sound helps because this guy who walked up and said, "What are those?" And I told him, and I said, "Hang on just a second, and before you look through," and I gave him I'm going to go on 212, and then he's like, "Oh wow!" Looking at M81 and M82 and the NGC object, he was blown away. I believe that video was posted earlier today on our Facebook page if you want to listen to it. So this is a picture of Libby in the Stars, who is still, she maybe turned 13.
She's definitely
grown a lot.
She's grown a lot.
She's grown a lot.
The last time I've seen her.
She started doing some stuff for us when she's 10. She's showing her.
It's already been 3 years.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Moly.
She's presenting in front of a.
There it is.
Oh.
She's presenting in front of a crowd of about 75 to 100 people, talking about how she got started in astronomy and going to space camp and things like that. She's talking about what she likes to do with her telescope that you can see there. And it was an impressive presentation I would not have ever gotten up in front of a crowd of 100 people like that when I was 11 or 12 years old. I just not in my wheelhouse, but boy, she did a great job.
Good.
She did a great job. And what I was really impressed with, sir? Okay, we'll go back to that in just a second. Let me finish this story about her. You know, once she's done, she says, "Any questions?" And of course, you're in a room full of really technical astronomers.
Oh yeah, that would be the only worrying part.
And she fielded every question with flying colors. I mean, she did a fantastic job. It's going to be fun to watch her mature into whatever she reaches for. She's probably going to get. Yeah. Okay, so we have the video now with sound. Are you going to run it, Paul? Or you're not running it. Paul's running it. Yeah, I said, okay, let's go.
Hang on, I'm going to restart it. All right, I'm going to restart it.
No.
No, you're not running it. So you can go ahead and get the next picture queued up.
There. Hang on.
Actually, go to the
Dude,
next one.
so awesome. So awesome. Get them both in the field of view, and I can get the NGC.
What are you looking at?
M81, M82.
On the 120 millimeter binoculars, right?
Yeah, it's great. Binos are awesome for galaxies, awesome for comets. This faint stuff just pops with 2 eyes. I don't know what it is, but always notice that. These are awesome. So good.
It's not. So that was that was unscripted. He came up and I said, okay, here it is. And
I mean, I have the 82s at the house, and I got up at 4 a.m. and I looked up. It's like, oh, there's Pleiades.
Yeah.
So I was still half asleep. I drug them out, set it down, put it on there. It was amazing.
Could you see any nebulosity?
No, I couldn't see. I think I'm too light polluted.
Tyler,
I'm too much of a light pollution.
If you go up to the Nebraska Star Party and the Pleiades comes up,
some of us have to do other people's jobs.
You can see nebulosity with the telescope, with the binoculars telescopes. You know, those BT-120s are effectively, what would it be? They're 120s.
They're
7 millimeters shy of being 5-inch telescopes.
Yeah.
And I come to the conclusion, like he said, you see more with 2 eyes.
Yeah.
But you'd think you'd see double because you go from 1 eye to 2 eyes. But because you're using 2 eyes, your mind is wired to see things with 2 eyes, and it merges it, and you see more. You see 3 or 4 times as much as you do with 1 eye.
Yeah.
Experienced observers look through the BT-120s and were blown away. Now, John Johnson had his 82s out there, and people were looking through those.
Yeah.
And they were just amazed at how small, compact, but yet impressive it was. Okay, so let's go on to this next picture.
Yep. So you sent me this picture.
Yeah, and I posted this picture.
And you posted it on Facebook.
On Facebook. So,
and there's a ton of storms. You can see it.
Yeah.
There's a ton.
So that storm over there to the left,
this one,
ended up hitting North Platte and causing some pretty good. There's a little bit of rotation and some heavy rains. Didn't do any flooding. But what's cool is that rain shaft right there.
Yep.
That's illuminated by the sun coming through the clouds.
Yep.
You got another rain shaft right there. You've got this big blue hole right there. You've got more rain shaft.
You got another big hole right here, and then just a big giant
and rain shafts over there. And it was, so we were sitting there, right? And at Steve Seedentop's campsite.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking up and I said, fellas, I think we're getting ready to have a fantastic sunset. And so we were sitting around and it was like, okay, here we go, guys. And everybody, the entire campsite, 150 people camping there, everybody stopped and pulled out their phones and started taking pictures. And it went on for about 30 minutes.
Wow.
And it was spectacular. So I was sitting there, and back from my newspaper days, I always had this rule. If everybody else is looking in one direction and taking pictures,
you probably need to do the same.
Turn around.
Huh.
Go back one picture. That's what we saw behind us. And it was spectacular in its own right. That hillside lit up.
Yeah.
And it was, the pictures just don't do it justice. That dark clouds, that hillside lit up by a shaft of sunlight. And it was just spectacular. And that storm off to the south where it's really dark.
Yeah.
The right in this picture. You can go back forward to the next picture. Hang on.
I got it zoomed. I got to take the zoom off.
Take the zoom off completely. Look at that. It was just spectacular. But that picture right there, that rain shaft off to the left produced a big old storm that was 90 miles away, and we could see the lightning storm, and it was spectacular to watch. It cleared off above us and was just spectacular viewing. And you have this lightning storm down there below Sagittarius that was just spectacular.
So we got a couple of questions from Tarek. And since you use the binos more than I have, and I'm not much of the visual person like you are bino viewers actually worth it?
Bino viewers give you a different look of the same thing. We use the bino viewers a little bit on a big daub.
Yep.
And the scene wasn't real good. On low power stuff, it's great. The bino viewer we sell, you and I tested it.
Yep.
On things like the moon and the Pleiades, it's going to be fantastic. You start trying to put power to it, and there's some weird effects.
I think what Tarek is talking about, he's talking about an actual bino viewer, not the binocular Not the giant.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's the bino
The
viewer.
bino viewer. Okay.
Right.
Because he's also wanting to know, does the bino viewer used with a telescope do a better job than a binocular?
No,
Yeah.
Because you're
using two eyes in each individual
right.
once.
When you're using a bino viewer, you're taking one stream of light and running it into a mirror that splits it out and comes up to each eye.
Yeah.
It gives you, because you're working with two eyes, you can sometimes see more because you're working with two eyes, but it's literally coming from one tube.
Mm-hmm.
When you put two big telescopes side by side and look at them, you're getting two complete different shafts of light coming into your eye.
And so it's
Not
all
a shaft,
soaking it in.
and it's just also, and there is parallax, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it's creating this illusion of three dimensions because your mind wants to see in three dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have two telescopes, even side by side, you can see curvature in the sun. You can see curvature, sense curvature on the moon. You've seen that.
I've seen it.
And it gives you a curvature feeling on that you really don't get. It's much more enhanced with binoculars.
It's like
Right.
a 3D movie.
It's like a 3D movie in front of your eyeballs.
I tell you what.
Right. So that was just a beautiful scene. And that's untouched. I haven't done anything with it. Straight out of the iPhone.
That's crazy.
I need to go mess with it in Photoshop a little bit.
I told you to send it to me.
Well, I'm not worried about it. So this was a lot of what was going on. You know, you finally see it, don't you? Yeah. Yeah. Zoom in if you want to on that.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of this going on. Sitting in the shade, reading a book. You know, this is a lot of what was going on during the day. A lot of places. I like that picture.
Well, it wasn't hot.
No, it was.
It was here.
No, it was nice.
Yeah, it was what? It peaked
80s,
at 80.
85.
Yeah, it was
Wind was
20
blowing
to
10 miles an hour.
Wind was blowing,
Humidity
wind
was
blowing.
38%. It was pretty good. Now, it was cloudy. So the cooler temperatures do cause cloud situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to deal with maybe not great viewing periodically or no viewing for a couple of nights. You get some storms run through.
Yep.
But if it's blazing hot, you're probably going to have those perfectly clear skies.
Yeah, usually.
We still had some, even though perfect skies for there, the skies we had weren't that good for there. But Tyler,
Sucker
it
holes.
was no, they were just it'd clear off, but it'd still have some humidity maybe. But Tyler, it was better skies than almost everybody there has where they live, right?
Oh yeah.
So they were excited about it. The people that live there were like, this isn't that great tonight. And everybody else is going, man, this is awesome tonight, right? And we had, I think I stayed up till 3 or 3:30 one morning, doing some viewing. It started clouding up, so turned in. So you can see the sandhills. There's a lake back there behind, and there's just, you can see the erosion, and you can see it's just sand.
Yep.
So
The next picture. I guess I gotta zoom out more. There we go.
Another sunset. And if you look, there's in the middle right of that picture, there's something sticking up. That's that's an American flag somebody's put up. And I guess they replace it once a year. It's on a flagpole. It's pretty cool. But
Nice.
we were getting ready for an night of viewing after saw that. And it was like, ooh, that's really pretty. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Now we can see it.
Yeah.
And it looks like a tree,
There's-
flag.
You know, there's not a lot of trees. There's a lot of cedars or junipers.
Yeah.
And there's no oaks or anything else in a lot of places. It's
Interesting.
just it's almost prairie, just rolling hills prairie. And something I learned when I was up there, went to the Niobrara River National River Visitor Center, and there is 3 terrains or 4 terrains come together right there. If you get across the Niobrara River a little bit, you get up into prairie as opposed to sandhills. The terrain and topography changes. There's also, it's the farthest east forest of ponderosa pine.
Okay.
It's also potentially the farthest west of the eastern deciduous forests.
Okay.
So you've got prairies
Forest.
and forests of different types all coming together right there in that chunk of Nebraska. It was very interesting to read those
It is
interpretive
interesting.
panels. So
Well, kids.
there was probably 30 or 40 kids registered, and these 2 youngsters were up on a hillside, and I turned around, was doing something, setting up the 120s, and looked up and went, picture. Just saw it. The sun was setting and illuminating that grass, and it just was a pretty picture.
Ooh.
Okay, so this
Ooh.
is
I
literally
see it. I already see it.
this is literally my first attempt
That
at doing
astrophotography.
astrophotography, and
I'm proud.
other than holding the iPhone up,
It's
you
still
know, and trying this, you know, this was with a camera. It's with an older Canon Mark
It's marked Canon
5.
5D Mark II.
Yeah, Mark II. So it's an older camera,
Yep.
10, 12 years old.
Yep.
Had never done anything before. Oh, and it looks like there's is that a satellite
That's a
maybe right
satellite
there? There's a
down
satellite
there.
right
Yeah.
there I caught. So this is a 15-second exposure with an intervalometer, and you can. So what do we see right there, Tyler?
That's Andromeda.
The dead center is Andromeda Galaxy. So stay there real quick.
Okay.
So with Andromeda Galaxy, in the 120s,
Mhm.
it filled up 3 fields of view.
Nice.
And you know that when you see pictures, you see that one blue rim on one side that's full of
the
stars.
giant
It
one.
looks like a big wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. See it with the 120s.
Whatever.
People were blown away. It was amazing. I saw more with BT 120s Andromeda than I've seen in any telescope that I've ever used. An 8-inch.
Even with the 20-inch Dob.
I've never looked at Andromeda with a 20-inch Dob, but I'm telling
by
you,
golly gee, we're
it
gonna have to.
was pretty impressive. So, what else is there's something over there
You
left
got
right there?
right here. Bulp.
Is what is that, Tyler?
That's a double
A
cluster.
double cluster. There's 2 clusters right there together.
Right there
So-
and right there.
And Andromeda is up into the not Andromeda, but
And
zoom out a little bit. Cassiopeia is up there to the left, just right too
right
far
there.
up. Nope, down just a little bit. Hard to see. There's so many stars right in there.
And that's where I get confused.
So
It's
go back
just-
on Andromeda real quick. So the Great Square of Pegasus. Yeah, zoom in.
I got lights in my face. I can't see.
Now move Andromeda down and to the left. There you go. So let me see there.
There's one star.
Okay, well, hang on. We can find it. So find it, scroll
There's
up, move it,
two.
move it up a little bit.
Moving up. Oh,
Oh,
fiddlesticks.
as close as the French were going to say, I hope. Stop right there. So find Andromeda. So no, up just a little bit. Go that way.
That's as far as I can go.
No,
I'll
go
have to-
go
I'll have to-
up. I want
I'm
you
gonna
to
zoom
go
out.
up. Okay, so
That's
you
as far
see
as I can
the
go.
come down here.
Here.
Let me take the controls
Take
here.
over. Take over.
So right here's Andromeda.
Yep.
See that bright star? So
Yeah.
this is there's a V that comes off of Andromeda, right?
Yep.
Off of the Great Square of Pegasus. This is the constellation Andromeda. That star right there is if you think about Andromeda rising as a baseball field,
Yep.
the lowest star is home. You go to first, second, third base. This is
It's
the
off the-
third base.
Okay.
Right. And Eric Baum, the guy that runs the Nebraska Star Party, he tells, okay, you get to third, the coach tells you to come into the dugout or come off the field and tells you to go in the dugout. Then he sends you to the locker room, and that's how you find Andromeda. Okay,
Ah,
so if you go back and see, there's 2 stars. Here's the Great Square of
now I
Pegasus.
see the baseball field.
See the 2 diamonds right here?
Yeah.
This is the coach's box. Come into the dugout and then go into.
I see it.
So if you measure, and then there's down here, there's bigger stars and a couple more, but you find these 2 stars in this V or veil right here. Find those 2 stars. Measure that distance and come up right there, and there's Andromeda. That's how you find Andromeda.
Hot
so
diggity dog.
Let's scroll
I-
out a little bit.
I love
So
baseball analogy and stars.
well, I never heard that one before. So there's this first star. That's
Yep.
third base. So there's first base. Second base is out of the picture. Oh, excuse me. First base is out of the picture.
Yeah.
Second base is right there. Third base is right there. I'd never heard that one before, but it makes it really easy to find.
Okay.
And lots of people were they were trying to find Andromeda up here, and there's some stars that sort of point at it.
Yeah.
And I say, no, let me show you this easier way. And I just told them it's V, and we went on down the road. So
Nice.
this, in the camera, even not in when we pulled these in a Lightroom, they didn't look like much.
Yeah.
But with Lightroom, we were able to tease out a whole lot of detail.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try and work some up, and then each one up, and then stack them to see what we get, to see if we know that there's some amp glow and things like that as well. So scroll down a little bit so we can see. I don't think that's the entire image, or zoom back out all the way.
Zoom out. Yeah, it's
Okay, that's 15 seconds, and all that light there is either red light or coming from the Milky Way. You can see your shadow just like right here.
Yeah.
You can see your shadow just like this on the Milky Way. We got bright lights here, and you can see your hand moving. I was walking to Bob Running's camp after it clouded up one night,
Mhm.
and went down the hill. He's down
Hang
by
on,
the
you
lake.
ran?
No, Bob, I was running slowly.
Okay.
because you don't run at night when you don't have any light on.
No.
And so I was going to his camp, and I was walking along and realized on the ground I could see the shadows of the trees just like in the daytime.
That's insane.
It was freaky.
bright.
It is really freaky. So last picture here,
The good one.
the southern Milky Way. You can see a whole bunch of stuff in here. I printed out a map of what all this stuff was. Okay,
I
so
know what that is. I know
Well,
what
go
that is.
through
I
'em.
know what that is. I know that's a lagoon right there.
that's the
over my
lagoon.
head.
That's the Triffid up above it.
That's Triffid there.
That's an M object right there.
Let me zoom in more.
Don't zoom in too much.
Yeah, well, we don't want to see those imperfect stars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a
pretty good
zoom.
for you never doing it. That's
I
pretty
just-
darn good.
And the wind was blowing.
So there's a lagoon. There's the Triffid. Is that the
It's an
Eagle?
M object
Is
M26,
it M26?
and there's an M object. There's
There's
an-
one
right-
right in here somewhere.
there's right there.
Right there.
No, there's an M. Go down. No, it's over there to the left, just a little bit. There's an M object right there. There's an M object.
I can't remember the
M22?
names. Maybe.
I can't remember. So I looked them all up and wrote them down. So I know. You can also see that dark nebula. You
Yeah.
can also see the dark.
There's Antares, Dark Nebula right
Yep.
there.
Yep. There's a dark nebula right there, which is just dust that the James Webb Space Telescope can see right through. And the heart of the galaxy. So it's hard to see. There's so many stars. It's hard to see Sagittarius.
Is
So
it
let's-
below the horizon?
No, it's not.
Is it not?
No, it's there. Just gotta find it. So Sagittarius is right in here. There's just so many stars, it's hard to find it.
I
But
think that's where
Sagittarius,
I would have
right here's the
issues.
teapot. Here's the top of the teapot. Handles over here, I think. But there's a cloud bank right here.
Yeah.
And there's an M object right there. There's another M object. M6 is right there. M7's right here.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, you can tell there's a big cloud bank there that was just there all night. So,
Makes it for a nice picture, though.
literally, my advice to people is just take a tripod out and go do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did, Tyler.
Yeah.
I took a tripod out. I set it at ISO 2000.
Yeah.
I used the rule of 500, which is
14, 15-second exposure.
which means you take the focal length of the lens you're using
Yep.
and divide 500 by that number.
of whatever,
That yielded 14.
whatever
that's
you're using as a focal length.
35 millimeter
Yeah, that's what
wide
you
angle
do.
lens.
Yep.
500 divided by 13 yields, or 35
Five is
yields
from
14.
Yeah.
So I did 14 or 15-second exposure, so you won't get star trails. And it didn't look like much, but for one exposure,
That's not bad.
and I'm going to try and do some more and stack them up and see what we can
We
get.
need to go to the Buffalo.
Yeah, we need to go over Buffalo River and play with it.
Yeah.
You can see that this lens has some coma in it.
It's a
Or
zoom lens.
it's a zoom lens.
It's a zoom lens.
So what we're talking about is in the corners, you see the stars are stretched out. You remember the wind was blowing. It was blowing so hard this night that we didn't. I didn't.
Oh, dang.
That everybody with the big dobs, the 15 and 20 and 30 inch dobs,
Yep.
put their dobs away. The wind was blowing so bad they
There you
couldn't
go.
do anything.
Already in there.
So all sorts of constellations in there.
There's a ton.
Ophiuchus is off to the right. I identified
That's right
part of
there.
Capricornus. And you can see those clouds over there.
Yeah.
And I cropped this in a little bit to get rid of some of it as well. So there you go. That was
That's it.
the summation of what I've got. So we can quit sharing. There it is. It's decent for one exposure for a total of 15 seconds.
Yeah.
With a 12-year-old camera, you just got to go out and start doing it.
Yeah.
And
That's all that matters.
And then get into Lightroom, which is you can download Lightroom for free. Is that correct?
I
is
think
Lightroom free?
Lightroom
Is now
is for
free.
free.
Lightroom. So you
Okay,
download
it was
GIMP.
free. You
download
can
GIMP or
you
something
can
like
download
that.
any other
Well, that's
stuff.
what I need to do is download GIMP and try and work on that picture, the original picture in GIMP. Oh, and one thing, create a folder, download all your pictures.
Yes.
I've been looking up here at the screen, so you look
Yeah.
at the camera.
Camera.
Tyler,
Yeah.
the camera. You download all your pictures, get them on your computer, and then create a copy folder that has and work out of it, so you don't mess up your originals and inadvertently.
Well, you
Don't-
usually save them before you do any kind of manipulation.
That's what I'm saying. Make a copy and then
Yeah.
work on the copies. Now these were all in RAW, or they were supposed to be. Did they come out in RAW? Do
Yeah,
you know?
they were all raw.
So these are in RAW. RAW format saves all the data. A JPEG is like, it makes it smaller. And think about it. You got a nice, pretty piece of paper.
Yep.
And when you save it, you open it up, it's a pretty piece of paper. When you save it, crumple it up. and then open it up again. And every time you open and close a JPEG, it destroys data, just like wadding up a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna have to get you out of.
Picture up at a little bit better resolution here.
Okay, cool.
Go for it.
Is that it right there?
No,
Wasn't working.
I don't think so. It may be. No,
Is it up?
Is that the one that you're messing with, Paul? Is the Milky Way?
I just was kind of better resolution.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
Okay.
So we can't. Okay, yeah, that's live. That's what we're seeing live there.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's not a great sensor.
Well, it's an old camera.
It's a lot of noise. This old camera is heavily manipulated. But you know what, Paul? I'm proud of it. You know why?
Because you did it.
Because I took it.
Yep.
You
Now
know,
we can call you an astrophotographer.
And here's the deal. If you want to be Jack Newton, you got to put in the 40 years Jack Newton put in to become
I got a long
world
way.
famous Jack Newton, or
I got a long
30 years or whatever,
I'm going to remain Paul Newton,
otherwise known as Fig.
the big fig.
Did you like that, Tyler? Tyler can't talk. He liked that so much. All right. So, what are some comments? We've had some comments I've been seeing
Comments,
coming over there.
It's mainly just a bunch of it's banter between
Yeah.
all the friends.
all the friends.
Something.
Something about inflated egos, IQ, the stuff that I don't care about mainly.
Yeah.
'Cause
Tyler,
I-
no
I-
IQ.
I dumb rock.
Tyler, strong break things.
I break anything.
We give Tyler a hard time. He's really good at astrophotography. He's good with
breaking
mechanical
things.
stuff,
Good at breaking
and he's good
things.
at breaking things sometimes.
You need anything broken? I'm the guy.
Send it to Tyler because he'll break it
I'll
for you.
break it. Oh,
All right.
This doesn't break? Send it to me.
Yeah. Thank you, Beatrice. Kent, you're right. Be proud of your pictures. It's better than not trying at all.
Exactly. I'm glad you did it.
I'm glad I did it too.
I told you to do it. I
I
had
know.
to buy the intervalometer for
Yeah,
you
but
to do it.
Shh, don't tell Scott and
What?
Rob. We're going to try
I
to
had-
sneak it
it's-
into him.
No,
Yeah.
I had to do it anyway.
Yeah. So we need.
Because I wanted
we
you
needed
to take
one.
pictures.
And it was fun. It was. I just set it and left it, and did some
That's all
Milky
you
Way
did?
for a while,
Yeah.
and then moved it. Did
You could do it.
I'm looking at the pictures. It
Ah.
switched. Did the northern Milky Way with Andromeda and the double cluster,
Yeah.
and then went to the south. And then people started coming up and asking questions, and that was the biggest challenge. I wanted to try it every night.
Yeah.
But since
Everybody's
someone
asking questions.
everybody's come up
hard.
and talking about stuff, and you're working. You're not. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, okay. It's like going to the Winter Star Party. You're in
You have
the
to check
Florida
it.
Keys in January or February,
Mhm.
but everybody's wanting you to do something. Hey, can you come look at my
Hey, I
telescope?
can't
Hey, it's
see
doing
it. I can't
this.
see it. Can you move it? Can you adjust it?
Yeah, what can you do? Or hey, tell me about the binocular telescopes, or tell me about the Newtonian telescope, or whatever.
Mhm.
And there's constant questions, and for hours on end, people are coming up and talking, and so I wasn't able to go do it, so I just left it. And when we started packing up, I went over and went, "Oh, the camera died."
That's a good thing about intervalometers. You can set it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. It took.
You
Don't
point
be.
it. Point at whatever you're wanting to shoot.
What that
set
cost? $70,
It.
$80
It was
bucks.
$80. I mean, it
$80.
does a lot more cameras than just that one.
Oh yeah, I can use. There
I
was
use
like
about the
there was
whole
like
Canon
8 or
line. It
9.
can do a Canon line, Nikon, Sony. It can do a whole.
There
bunch
was
of
like 7 or 8 different cable adapters in there. So for $80, you sit there and you can tell it I want to take
30 or 30 exposures at
30 seconds,
whatever
and
seconds,
it just sits there
and it just
with a
takes-
2-second delay.
Yep.
With a 2-second delay, and just
That's
it just goes
and it'll
right.
go.
So
Great for time lapse.
great for time lapse.
Yeah.
And so I did not ever get an IXOS 100 out with a camera on. I wanted to, but it was just
We can always
Too
go
much
to Buffalo,
going on.
and then when there's
Or
there's no time.
we'll just take a Friday off and drive up to Nebraska for
I don't-
Friday night and Saturday night,
we
and
could
come back
probably
on
just do
Sunday.
Buffalo.
Buffalo's only 2 hours away. It's not as dark, but it's still dark.
Doesn't matter.
Problem is, you have a clear horizon all the way around in Nebraska. That's not a problem.
No, we'll
We
have to
could
get
go-
with John.
We
Let's
could
get
go over
with
to
John.
Pawhuska,
Yeah, we could go to Pawhuska.
to the Tallgrass Prairie north of Pawhuska, which has a pretty good horizon.
Yep.
And probably high Bortle 2, almost
Oh,
Bortle
that'll be
3
fine.
maybe.
For what we want to do.
for what we used to.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, it's about time to wrap up. Any
Yep.
other questions for anybody?
No, I think they're still distracted.
Yeah, Charity Rose Walker Herald, that's common. We tend to be distracted due to having too small of challenges. Not sure what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
going
know.
to school.
Oh, yep. So anyway, I still encourage you. get a tripod.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be an expensive tripod.
We're actually on my show on Friday. I'm talking to with a guy that does DSLR work
With just a tripod.
with just well, he uses more than a
Who you
tripod,
talking
but
to?
Mac Murdoch.
Okay. But tripod, a camera, set it on bulb and self timer, and
Yep.
not bulb, but set it on the.
You can set it on both.
You could. It turns out I had the intervalometer taking a picture every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But at 15 seconds, I could set the camera
Mhm.
to take a picture at 15
In between.
seconds.
Yeah.
And the intervalometer just click and wait 17 seconds and then go click and do that. Keep doing that. I didn't have it set that way. I had the intervalometer set up to where it literally was on bulb and kept it open for 15 seconds. So lots of ways
Cool.
to do it.
There is a lot.
But you know what? You're never going to take a picture if you don't get out there and try
That's correct.
and learn from what you do. I've learned a lot from doing this, but learn from your mistakes, because
You're gonna make
mistakes are opportunities to learn.
Yep.
And there's no easy button other than putting in the
What?
time.
There's no easy button.
There is, but you have to buy it at Office Depot or Staples or wherever it is. You can't.
Ah,
It's not one in astronomy.
darn it.
So anyway,
I know a politician that has one.
we're not bringing politicians into this. This is no politics zone right here.
There's no
Other
politics.
than the politics of light pollution, there's
Yeah,
no
that's right.
no politics
golly
here.
gee.
All right, so
I'm Tyler.
I'm Kent Martz.
Well,
He's Tyler.
We're with Explore Scientific.
That's
Thank
right.
you guys for coming in and watching. Please tune in next time. We'll see you guys later.